There was a time when Matthew Labyorteaux was one of the most recognizable young faces on television, playing Albert Quinn Ingalls on Little House on the Prairie. But behind that familiar face was a childhood story few viewers knew. Born with a hole in his heart, struggling with developmental milestones, and unable to speak until he was 5, his early years were filled with uncertainty. Yet with the support of his adoptive parents, therapy, and a determined family environment, Matthew began making remarkable progress. Acting soon became another part of that transformation. Before becoming Albert, he had already appeared on Little House, including as a young Charles Ingalls. Then, in 1978, he returned in a completely different role that would define his childhood career. Albert was an abandoned boy taken in by the Ingalls family, a storyline that carried an unexpected emotional connection to Matthew's own adoption. Working alongside Landon became one of the most important experiences of his young life. Matthew later remembered the atmosphere on set and the lessons he absorbed simply by watching Landon work, direct, and interact with the people around him. Albert remained part of the series until 1983, but his story never received the kind of ending audiences expected. A later television movie revealed that Albert had developed leukemia, yet his ultimate fate was deliberately left uncertain. There was no definitive goodbye, leaving fans to wonder about the character for decades. Matthew's real life, meanwhile, continued far beyond Walnut Grove. He moved into other television projects, including the science fiction series Whiz Kids, before discovering another major path, voice acting. He eventually became the voice of characters connected to major animated and gaming franchises, including Jaden Yuki in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, allowing a completely new generation to know his voice without necessarily recognizing the child actor from the Prairie. His career continued through animation and other voice work, while his personal life became increasingly private. He married Leslie in 2020 and built a family away from the constant attention that surrounded him as a child star. But one loss remained especially important. Landon died of cancer in 1991 at only 54, taking with him the man Matthew had known not simply as a television director, but as someone who had helped shape his childhood and career. More than 4 decades after Little House on the Prairie, Matthew Labyorteaux' story is not really about disappearing from Hollywood. It's about changing with it. From a child whose future once seemed uncertain, to a beloved television character, to a successful voice actor heard by an entirely new generation, Matthew kept moving forward. Albert may have remained frozen in television history, but Matthew never did.